Boruto episode 109, Potato Chips and the Giant Boulder. So yet again, we have another filler episode. I just keep hoping more and more, like, man, I really hope one of these fillers is super cool. So far they haven't been. I feel like they've been getting less and less entertaining. This one I think was less entertaining than the last one, sort of. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I feel like they actually did a better job in this one because I felt like it connected a lot more to the idea of Asuma and Mirai, her figuring out more about her dad, and of course that's why Choji was there, which was just like a random thing. It was funny, him coming in the very beginning, like I'm starving. It's like I only ate like 15 minutes ago, so that was pretty funny to me. But it was a simple episode, and I was like, all right, I at least like this one. I actually, you know what? I think this was better than the last episode. I think it was more entertaining because it did focus more on Mirai. And it didn't get super in depth, but we did at least get some content from it. We got to see, it starts with the flashback, so it was like they were at least touching on some entertaining stuff with, who is the king, the will of fire and stuff like that, and Mirai trying to, figure that lesson out, which I assume she'll discover, by the end of this mini arc that we're going through. But simple episode once again, not much to it. Choji was there, excuse me. We don't get too much from the little girl, except for at the very end, we find out the real reason that they added her into the show is that she's not just traveling to locations that her dead mother wanted to go. She's actually going to the Resurrection Hot Springs. So, excuse me. Looking forward to that. Maybe we'll see Asuma. They have at least a dream. It could be a dream sequence where they show her, in the promo, they show Asuma like sitting and kind of looking outside, and Mariah's like, right there behind him. I was like, okay, she could actually be seeing him. It could be a vision. It could just be a dream sequence where it's like, she wants to see him so bad she dreams about him. So we'll have to wait until the next episode to really figure all that stuff out. But I liked it. I was like, okay, I'm excited for that. This episode was pretty much what I expected. It was at least some, more entertaining. It was more about Asuma and, how he was, and Mirai kind of figuring things out a little bit. And it added, with the young girl, it kind of added that. It was like, as they're walking, it was like, you seem like you're more like your mom. And the little girl's like, I get that a lot. And she asked Mariah, like, who are you more like? And Mariah says, my mom, I think. And I was like, I like that idea. She doesn't really know anything about her dad. Like, she asked Choji, it was like, you were one of his students. What was he like? And so he gives her some of these lessons. He talks about, the earrings and stuff like that. Like, that was the type of thing that your dad did. And I think he smoked to kind of hide his shyness, little stuff like that. I was like, that's cool. At least we have that, because I felt like we didn't in the last one. They had like that one moment. But in this, I thought it was cool. I was like, all right, they have more of that. It still didn't lead to a ton of stuff, but I was like, all right, at least we got a bit more of it. And I thought it was fairly decent. It was pretty entertaining how they went through some some older stuff, like I said, the earrings, bringing up the whole question of, who is the king, and, stuff like that. So I was like, all right, I like that idea. They're kind of going full circle. They're at least connecting stuff, because I forgot about the riddle myself, to be totally honest. So it was cool that they brought that back. And I was like, okay, based on them bringing it back, at least, I would assume that by the end of this mini arc that we have, she'll know the answer. She'll realize that the king is basically the future. It's the will of fire. It's the next generation, like everyone, coming after you. So we'll see what ends up happening to truly make her realize that. But either way, I'm looking forward to the next episode, because we may or may not see her talk to Asuma, which I think would be cool. I would love it if that was actually the truth. Like, it wasn't just a rumor, like it actually happens and you can see, lost loved ones. I think that would be great. I would love to see Asuma come back and we see Mirai actually have a full-on conversation with him. And maybe he just flat out tells her the answer. Maybe he would wait. I don't know. It's anything could happen, really. Like, it's him seeing his daughter for the first time. So there are a million possibilities there, but we'll see what ends up happening. But I'm looking forward to the next episode. I didn't think this one was horrible. It just didn't, it was like, okay, I can at least appreciate this, but it was still just a meh episode. Hopefully we'll get one that, I don't know how they would do it, but I really want them to just have an episode that just focuses on her. But it's always kind of like a side thing. It's always like, oh, here's the main thing. Like, they were feeding, they spent, what was it, like, it was like a 5-minute scene or something. It seemed like it was longer than that. And, including the flashback, I feel like it was like 10 minutes of the episode. It's probably way less, but I'm just watching, I'm like, this just feel like this is going on forever. But within that, content of them making these potato chips and cutting them thin and this and that, we get to some good content where it's like, here is a lesson from Asuma. Focus on what you can do right now. And that, of course, leads into Mirai being like, okay, I can help him right now. I can use this log and try to, levy this ridiculously giant boulder. Technically, she was doing literally nothing by herself, but it was focus on what you can do now. And of course, that kind of pumps everybody else up and is like, all right, well, of course, Guy jumps in. Kakashi's like, well, I guess I can't stand around. And then the villagers are like, well, we can't let these outsiders show us up. So everyone joins in. They're able to push the boulder. The hot springs comes back. And it's like, that's the lesson from Beyond the Grave, from her own father. It's like, focus on what you can do right now. And it played into the episode. So that's always good when you actually introduce something and it matters. Which I brought up in that last arc where it was like, why did they show all that stuff with Kanin and nobody's getting healed? So it was like, that's a nice change of pace. They actually talked about something and it was a part of the story. That's actually good writing. So it was an okay episode. I definitely enjoyed it more than the last one. Because as far as I'm concerned, this whole arc is supposed to be about Mirai. Like, there's really nothing else of any importance whatsoever. Like, they do some little stuff here and there, might have some funny moments, older Kakashi, older Guy. So we'll get some cool stuff, but it's all about, like, what's happening with Mirai. And that's why I didn't like the last episode, because they had that one good scene where she was like, well, if ghosts are real, why didn't my dad ever come visit me? That was a good emotion. It could have been really emotional, I think. I think that would have been great if they made that, like, actually emotional, but it was a good emotional beat, at least. It wasn't like a full scene of emotion, but it was a good beat. And in this one, kind of the same thing. It wasn't like, deep emotion, but I feel like we got more beats, at least compared to like that one moment in the last episode. We got a few beats, a few lessons throughout this episode. What's the king? And, Mirai still having to go through that idea, and Choji being like, I promised Shikamaru I wouldn't tell you the answer to that. Little stuff like that. Her getting closer to who her father was and what the answer is to who is the king. So I'm looking forward to whatever we get, and hopefully, it'll be good. That's all I keep saying is, like, I hope it's good, because I feel like this arc has just been, like, kind of boring. And it's like, man, it's just like with the last one where I was like, man, they could take it so much further with the curse marks and stuff, but they cut it and it's over. And it was good. It was at least entertaining. In this one, it's the same thing. It's like they can go so much further with this. And I feel like they're just throwing it in as like small snippets. It's almost as if the filler, the boring filler crap is the main focus, which technically it is. Like each episode, it's a random filler thing. And then her story is like the mainline story throughout these episodes. But the filler stuff is so boring. Like they need to like throw in some filler crap where they fight, because that's what I need to see right now. Because I'm like, I want some cool action. I want to see Mirai fight. Guy can still do some stuff. Kakashi has the purple lightning now, even though he probably wouldn't need to pull that out for like some random person. But I would love to see them fight. Like I want to see them have a cool action sequence, which you kind of need. Like you have characters that we never actually see these guys. I want to see them do some fighting. Like we saw Kakashi use the purple lightning in the first season, and that's the only time we've seen it. And I believe that's the only time we've actually seen him fight, period. So we need more of that. I would love to see Guy fight. I'm pretty sure we saw him fight before. Maybe that was Rock Lee fighting his son, I think. But I would love to see Guy fight and do some silly stuff. Mirai using Genjutsu would be cool. Of course, like I said, I know they're going to build up to it because every episode is some new little thing. So she's going to use the chakra blades. We'll ultimately see how that pans out. It'll probably just be, extending her chakra from it. I doubt she can like use it to like add Genjutsu, but I would love to see that, which I think I mentioned in like the very first episode of this arc at least. So looking forward to what we're getting with this resurrection hot spring, and hopefully that's true and we get some actual scenes of Asuma and his daughter. That would be great. Mirai is a character. I still like her for sure. I just hope that they do more with her. Like, I like her character. She's probably going to basically disappear after this mini arc. Like, it's obviously focuses on Boruto, Satoru Mitsuki. And then, that's fine. But when they focus on other characters, it's like, give us something good with those characters. And I feel like they're not really doing that. They kind of did it a little bit in the last season, or the last mini arc that we just had, where it's like, okay, we get to see Team Taka, come back. But in this one, it's like you got older Kakashi who hasn't had a focus in the show. Guy hasn't had a focus. Mirai, obviously, I think she was literally only in that one episode where she was introduced before. And it's like, give us something good. And I feel like they haven't done that yet. I feel like they could be leading up to it. This episode was a good, kind of change of pace as far as, compared to the last one. I think they did more. So maybe they can do even more, like actually just have a full freaking episode where it's like, instead of here's the filler thing and here's what makes Mirai think of her dad during this annoying filler stuff, let's just have a whole episode, 30 minutes. It's just focused on her figuring stuff out, her relationship to her father or lack thereof, due to his early passing. That's what we need. Like, that's really what the whole thing should be about. Like, it can be emotional, it can still be entertaining. It's just, let's just do filler stuff and then throw the entertaining stuff in. It's like, here's like 1 minute of cool things or this and that. So hopefully the next episode is actually just there. It is what we need for this mini arc, which is just, it focuses on Mirai, focuses on Asuma. It can totally have Kakashi and Guy saying like, this is what he was like, this is how you're like him, this is how you're not like him. All that stuff is fine because it adds to her, Mirai's character, so it's totally fine. But yeah, they need to just start focusing on her and not just have it be like the background. Like, it's cool to have an overlying story, but they're treating it like it's gonna be some amazing thing. Like, it's gonna be cool, but it's like, what, maybe 3 more episodes, and then they're gonna cut the arc, and it's like, poof, back to the kids and some other boring thing. Sometimes I swear to God, it's tough watching this, and I know it's just gonna go on forever and forever. But I'm gonna stick with the show. I'm gonna stick with reviewing the show. But man, they just make it tough. Like, it'd be easy. Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan's been getting real insane recently. Good fun. Last episode was pretty good. But yeah, still gonna keep watching it. Still gonna keep reviewing it. But of course, would love to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, least favorite parts about it. And I would love to know your predictions on what we will see in the next episode. Is Asuma gonna make a return in Spectre form? Was that vision that we saw just a dream sequence? Was it actually like something happening where Mirai gets to experience a moment with her father? So I would love to know if you guys think that'll actually happen. And like I said, definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.